Hi everyone, it is Cherie from Paper Pieces and Leftovers. I've restarted this video already several times because I said 12 by 12 cardstock shop. As you guys know, I'm a design team member for 12 by 12 cardstock shop and Marjorie Ann Designs. So as you guys see, I've been busy. These two are already double-sided, meaning the order's ready to go. And I have a couple more going out, so I have to get them together, but I've had a couple requests on how to put them together, so I will do Andy. I will try to get the highlights for Raggedy Ann, but I'm not sure I'm going to do a whole video for her. Mostly the hair, just because I'm trying to get them together and get them ready to go out. Excuse me. So for Andy, I imported him into Cricut Design Space with a width of 12.0 and I let the height auto adjust. So we're going to separate all of his little pieces here, and I've already done the face on the one that I'm going to use just to try to cut down time. I did trace my eyes on so I can give you guys a couple hints, tips and tricks, I guess, for the eyes, the eyelashes, since that seems to be where everybody struggles. So to start, we are going to put the soles of the shoes on, and I just used gray, one of the grays from my American Crafts line. Give me a moment and I can look at it. There is a rounded part and a flat part. The flat part goes on the bottom. The rounded part is going to go around the top. So it will be round on the bottom, flatter, and then rounded on the top. Let me see where my little book is, because offhand I don't know the gray color, and I know you guys are probably going to ask. This one. So I used the color charcoal, which that's what I thought, but I was not sure. And his hair is going to be crimson. I hear something in my headphones, which is weird. And they reconnected. That's really odd, but okay. So for the red, we're going to use crimson. And the blue, I went ahead and just used the color denim. Peach, that I've had forever and ever. So hopefully 12 by 12 cardstock shop can get the peach. I know she said she was going to try. They normally don't get a whole line, or they don't get a single color from a whole line, but since it was American Crafts many years ago, she's going to see what she can do. But if you are using shrimp, go ahead and flip it over and use the back side. Excuse me. So after you get his shirt on, you are going to put the entire overalls on. And I know this is a weird layout. This guy has many, many layers, which I was surprised about. I don't know why they did as many as they did. I would have been more pleased if some of the layers were left out. And I think I'm going to have to take my headphones out. I don't know if it's because my case is charging. I am going to do a quick playback and pause this, and I will be right back, just because I want to make sure that none of the volume is missing and that everything is recording appropriately. Me being in a hurry and I'm making a mess. Hold on one moment. Okay, I'm going to put my AirPods back in the case. I don't know if it's just because my computer's on, it's confused on what it wants to connect to, but I'll let it be. So as I was saying, you're going to put The soles down first, which is the color Charcoal by American Crafts. I used denim for my blue and crimson for my red. After you put the soles of the shoes on, you're going to put the little red square. That's his shirt, and then the actual entire overalls. Now you have 2 legs that are going to be glued down. And as I was saying before I stopped the video to make sure my audio was good, I do not know why there are so many layers to this. I really don't know. I think it probably would have made more sense if perhaps there wasn't a base, but she could have left the overalls out, or just used the way it is without the base. But I was a little thrown off at all the pieces. The first set I did ink everything because I didn't know what went where. But after the first one, I didn't make the same mistake. I only inked what needed to be, and the overalls don't need to be inked. The base of the entire overalls. So after you get the legs on, then you're going to go ahead and put on the stomach part, the midsection of your overalls. I'm not editing this video just so I can kind of catch up, because it does take a while to edit them and to do the voiceover, remove parts, etc. And I don't want to do all that, so we're just going to leave it as is, and I will go through with you guys as I do each step. It just might have some extra length to it more than usual. So after you get the midsection to his tummy on, you can go ahead and put this on now, or at the end, it's up to you. Put his suspender straps on. This is the 4th or 5th one I've done, so it does get easier if you do more. But that's kind of why I do these, is so you can do them with me, because it is going to be a lot easier watching somebody do it in real time and doing it with them than trying to figure all these pieces out on your own. There is a whole lot going on here, I promise, for both pieces. And I probably would have changed a couple things, but it's not my pattern, so I can't. You are going to have different sizes of hearts. These two are barely going to be a huge difference. They are the 2 bigger of the 4. I'm trying to get his eyebrow off the back because I have my sticky tacky stuff, since that's what I did to place his head in order to get everything in the right position for me to do his eyes and whatnot. So the smallest one is going to be for his lip. And this, I just used my red Cricut pen. I'm going to push that out of the way just because I don't need those. Now, the second size up is going to be the 2 hearts that go on the bottom of the overall pieces here. And I learned this from a friend, Sarah. And I did mention before, I give credit where credit's due, if I can remember. If not, I just say, you know, I seen this somewhere from somebody I watch, follow, whatever the case be, because I did not come up with this. I asked her, and I explained it in another video, how do you not end up with glue all over around your small pieces? She said, silly girl, put it on your finger or on a mat, on a piece of parchment paper, and drag it through and blot it off. Or put it on the back and dab the excess off on your fingers, which I have plenty of on my fingers from doing that. So the 3rd size I used for here, and I don't know if the biggest one goes on there or the 3rd size, but I put the bigger one on his hat just because I liked it better there. And I tried to get some of the smaller pieces out of the way on the 2nd and 3rd time I did this, because there are a lot of pieces to this file. Let's go ahead and glue his hat. I'm not going to put the heart on until the end for the hat, just so I can make sure it's as centered as I can get it. And if I do it now and it's off center, it's just gonna really mess with me where I'm gonna have to recut out a hat and a heart and do it again. So I'm gonna set that aside. He's not this sticky. It's because I put his face down to do all of the faces just on him, so I didn't go over and take my gummy eraser to get all that excess off. Now we're gonna put his shoes on. So they go on top of the pant legs and on top of the shoe soles, but they're gonna go underneath the cuff of the pant leg. So I am going to go ahead and glue the back of this. And you can see the arch where they line up, which is very helpful. But like I said, I just don't know why we have so many pieces to this guy, because I don't think I've had this many pieces to one set. And silly me. I didn't charge that much for them, and I probably would have charged a lot more if I would have put them together first, just because this one is very time consuming due to all the pieces. So if you put it together, you're really gonna commit. And make sure you have some time set aside, because this little guy is gonna take a little while to put together and then to detail everything on him. I think Raggedy Ann is quite a bit longer just because of all the hair, but I do have a shortcut to show you for her. And I'm probably going to do it in a separate video, just that way you guys don't have to sit here and fall asleep on me during this one. I have kind of taken a break from posting videos because I'm having issues with a lady. She is stalking all of my pages. I blocked her. She can see this. I found out through YouTube that she can watch the video, she just can't comment. But there's always got to be one bad apple in the bunch. So after you get his face on, the best way to do it, line your face up, and then your hair, which has more sticky stuff on it. And then go ahead and put your eyes on and adjust them however you'd like. It's really up to you where you want them. I tried to give a little bit of a space from the curl, the little swoop of hair, so that way his eyelashes would show, but you don't have to. If you're not putting eyelashes on, or you just want the 3 wisps on the bottom, you can put them up higher, you can put them up lower, but I just tried to give enough space where I could fit the nose and the mouth, but the nose didn't end up in the middle between his eyes. Now this is just what I did, and that's the measurement that I used from the hair, and I did it on all of them just so that way they were all pretty much as even as possible. Once you get his eyes drawn on, before you get him glued down, you can do the eyes after if you're more comfortable. I do them before just because there is a dip in the paper. Plus I have all my little sticky Cosmic Shimmer glitter glue on there. You are going to go ahead and center his neck the best you can. I did glue his nose on first on the other ones. That way then I could size the neck into the middle. Well, place the neck in the middle as good as possible. As best as possible. But that's good enough for me. I'm not going to fuss over it because I've done multiple of these and they all look the same. So you do have the little collar cuffs now. What I did is I glued the back, and I put a generous amount on there because it's going to be glued down there anyhow. The longest part from the flat part, the longest point, is going to go out towards the bottom and down. And I line this up with the round of the neck. That way they all looked the same, as close as I could get them. They're never going to be identical because mass production by hand, to have duplicates that are identical is next to impossible. Unless you use a stamp and then you do a layover and lay it on top of this one to do it, but eyeballing it, I wasn't gonna keep laying it over. I know for the hair on the little girl I did lay it over for her little ponytail with the 6 little things of hair because I wanted them to look all very similar. So for this is all I'm gonna do. I'm going to glue it down now. We got him situated with all of the pieces. And I am going to put enough glue just because I want to make sure that everything is contacting the bottom layer. In contact with, I should say. I don't want any edges protruding. So now I'm going to turn him over and find my little bone folder. I have 2 of them. I don't know where the other one went. Oh, it's right there. I see it. Now we will glue his hair on. And I'm going to show you the trick I did for the eyebrow, but it's up to you guys how you guys want to do this. I'm just showing you the way I did it, and you don't have to copy anything I do. This is just for reference in case you got stuck on one spot. So I went ahead and I put his hair down the best I could without making a mess. And I lifted this up where his eyebrow is going to go. More glue on the finger, just because I don't want a lot, otherwise it's going to seep out from under. I'm trying to grab the tip. I'm going to dab it in the glue and slide it under. And now I will push his hair down. That is all I did for the eyebrow to get the eyebrow in there. I tried doing it before I laid the hair down and it didn't work for me. And I found that to work a lot easier. We're gonna glue his hat on. And then we will go ahead and put the heart on and his arms. It's up to you where you'd like the hat to be placed. You can go higher or lower. Excuse me. I don't know why, well, California weather and all the wind. My throat, I've noticed a couple of us, we get kind of scratchy throat when we record, but we're doing talking and no listening. And I'm not doing live to read the comments, which that does kind of slow things down and give you a break. And that's okay though. All right, he is almost done. Now you're going to have both of your arms. The little points on the sleeves are going to go pointing outward. And I'm just going to do one at a time after I push his neck down some, just to flatten it a little more. Because I don't want to be able to see under. We'll put this on here. And I'm only working one side at a time. Also for the hands, I did do something a little different. I just duplicated a hand, so I had a second one because I believe he's holding something. Or is that on? No, that was on Raggedy Ann. Yeah. For Raggedy Ann, she has a round hand and I cut it in half. That's what it was. So after you put his sleeve on, you just glue a little bit on the bottom. And now we will put the other side on, and he's just about done, so I can get him up on YouTube for anybody that needed help. I got a couple messages asking for help to put him together. I will show a quick trick for the eyes. Trying to just get these as even as possible. And we will put his second hand on. Now, for those of you who are not comfortable with eyelashes, or you don't want them to look overpowering where they go almost up to the top of the head, which a lot of us, when we start, we're trying to figure out how to manage the eyebrows or the eyelashes. Sorry, I was looking at his extra eyebrow piece. I did not put them both on. So I measured with the hair how far down I wanted them. I placed them and traced them. I do this with all of my pieces. I know that some of the girls do the eyelashes after they've glued the eyes down, but that for me is a lot harder because I do not want all of the little black tick marks on the white of the eye if there is a white on the eye. Now, if it's a solid black eye, I could see myself doing it. The tip I recommend, so you don't have the ticks in the white, if you do it this way, is use a pencil and a white eraser only. The reason why is it's going to clean up a lot better, and use a very light hand. I didn't sharpen my pencil, and I'm spacing these apart so you can see my pencil marks. This is not how far I would put them away from each other, but I just wanted to show you guys. I didn't do this side as good as I wanted to. Let's go on the other side, because I over exaggerated that side just so you guys can see, and then I'll erase. But this side I will do them a little bit shorter, and it is a lot easier with a sharper pencil than I usually have my lead pencil from Knott's Berry Farm, but I don't know where it is. I think it's over there. My daughter used it, and that was the last time I seen it. So you can erase your eyelashes as many times as you'd like until they're in the spot you want them. But the reason I tell everybody to use a white eraser is because it does not leave any pencil marks if you let it dry long enough. And I usually say give it about a minute or so, but it also doesn't erase your pen mark. Now, I did these farther apart so you can see, but it doesn't erase any of your pen mark, and it doesn't leave pencil mark. And then I know on my page I do have these posted. These are false eyelash glue applicators, and this is Pan Pastel in the color, it's not black. I use black on bears or darker paper. This is neutral gray extra dark. I saw Connie use these one time, and I asked her what they were because the white was so vibrant and I loved it, and I had never heard of them before. But I just go around and I do use my white eraser to clean up my overage if it's not even. I went too far out. But that's it for my eyes. And then I started too far in there. And then I would just glue my eyes down, and I push the eyes out, meaning if I have a lot of shading, but I don't, I would just push it a little further out into the shading, but I can actually line it right up with my markings because it's right where it needs to be for me. And you just will learn certain things as you practice. Marjorie Ann started paper piecing. I was really surprised. She did Franklin, of course, so my heart's like, oh, I love it. And she's learning that it's not easy whether you're new or you just haven't done it in a long time. It is not an easy process. There's a lot of work that goes into these, a lot of heart in most cases. Now, for the mouth, and I'm sorry for talking your ears off. I just want to give everybody the chance to make these. I did do another set. If you look at my Facebook, I had drawn a white line down the side, and I didn't like it. It was too much for the eye, and I wanted them softer, so I did not put any white chalk pencil down the side. I just left the white line off just because it softened it. But I'm using a clear teardrop that came from, I don't know what. You could cut it out on your Cricut. It's acetate. It's nice and sturdy. I use this for a lot of things. The little markings on it are just so I can find it because it blends in with whatever you're working with if it's just the clear plastic. So what I did for his mouth is I lined this up the best I could. And I just went around the bottom of it. I added my little happy jowls there, and we will glue his mouth on, and he's finished, guys. That's it. Then you can just add your chalk accents if you want. Again, I use Pan Pastel Titanium White. That's the one that I seen Connie using, and I did not know that they had an array of colors, and I ordered them all. I made the fatal mistake of ordering 3, 4, and 5 of each of them because I thought they were going to dissipate as fast as the chalk we use for scrapbooking. No, you have to use such a minuscule amount that these things last forever. So only buy one. Do not buy 2, 3, 4, 5 like I did. You're going to end up with extras forever. And I was asked about my blush color. I did make this myself. I just used the Pan Pastel container because it had the, I don't wear makeup anymore, eyeshadow applicators in it. So I took them out and used this. What I did is I took all my pinks that I've used over the years and I put them into a blender and I packed them into here. So there is no specific color. I won't be able to recreate this color because it is just tons of my leftover pieces and corners. And I know you guys know what Stampin' Up! Is. Let me grab it. Give me one moment and I will... Oh wait, this one's closed because my other one's on the other side. So this here, they're old. I have probably 10 of these things, but it's all the pieces of my pinks that I've used, and because I have so many of these, I just put them into little containers. I will show you guys here. So do not throw out your bits of chalk once you get to the end. They will be a lifesaver for you later on. But I put them into these. And some of them are broken. The one I use the most is not on here. It is probably buried somewhere in the back, but that's fine. I just wanted to show you guys that Stampin' Up! Like this is Red Ruby. I use a little bit of this with pink for my Franklin bears. I don't know where my other one is that I use all the time. You'll see that it's like dust. And I save it. Here's another one that I use. You can see my indentations from my chalking tool that I use for the cheeks, which I saw Connie started using it, and then Renee started using it. I got them from Amazon, but I noticed a lot of people are using them. They work great on cheeks because it does get it into all the grooves if you are using textured paper. If you're not using textured paper and you're using smooth paper, you can just use a pom-pom. Connie, I see her with the pom-pom or these. It just depends. But what I do after I'm done is I go in and I add all of my highlights. So you can take a screenshot. It's up to you. Don't mind the hand tremors. If you want to soften how he looks, and that's where his hair is lighter, but it is the same color. All I did was take my double-ended tool. This is the end that I use for his cuff on his pants. This is the end that I use on his nose and his hearts. And then I went back to this end to go over his hair tips. And I did the same thing with her. Not sure about doing a video on her